Maddy Makes Games presents a game created with Game Maker by Mark Overmars, a game by Matt Thorson, and with some support from EO Game Development Community. Greetings everyone, this is Vada here, and welcome back to retro games that I used to play as a child. In this video, an Untitled Story. A game created by the same person that created Celeste in the end, that's right. Now, I've already played this game twice before on my channel. The first time, well, not only was it the first video game I ever played on this channel, but also the first video I ever uploaded on this channel. And the second time around, it was a recreation on massive difficulty. But this time we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing an any percent speedrun on regular difficulty. But before we get to that, I just want to show you a gripe that I have with the way this game manages its windows. If I click continue, it resizes its window. You can resize it down to even smaller for some reason, and then you resize that, and then it becomes small again, and then you resize again, and then you click begin, and then it resizes, and then and now it's this for some reason. And the worst part of all, this is now full screen because I saved it as full screen. Now let me go back to menu. Let me create a new file on file 2. Now it's small. If I try to go away and continue, it's still small. But now if I change this to full screen mode and quit, and then I go back, now it's full screen again. So if I start a new file, it automatically starts as small screen. And I don't like that. So as a result, for this particular speedrun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new file. I'm going to go into the menu, change the window to full, and then begin. And then I start the timer as soon as I start moving. There's no rule on the official speedrun.com website in regards to this, but I think this should count as a valid run for the sake of video quality, especially since I also return the menu to its original position. Alright, let's get to the speedrun. Now, because I wanted some actual meaningful commentary over the video, and I couldn't be arsed to redo that after every failed attempt, I'm instead doing the commentary in post, which also gave me the chance to actually focus on the gameplay while playing the game live. Now, this is a 2D platformer game which gives you upgrades that upgrade your movement, and speaking of movement, your movement in this game has acceleration, moving left, right, and down, that is. When you come up against a wall or the ground, you lose all your momentum, which, as you can imagine, is slower than if you try to cut as many corners as possible. Which is what I will be trying to do throughout this entire playthrough, from start to finish. And I'm not going to say that every single time, because otherwise that would be the entire video and that would be boring. This is our tutorial boss that teaches you can jump on enemies to damage them, and when you defeat them, they drop crystals. We're not going to be picking those up, because this boss does not drop a lot of them, so they're not worth going after. Fun fact, they would drop 20 crystals instead of 10 if you defeated the boss with full HP. With you at full HP. Speaking of HP, that is the only heart you will be picking up in the entire game. It increases your max health by 10, bringing you from 100 to 110. And that, turns out, is very important because a lot of late game obstacles deal exactly 100 damage. And that allows us to not only tank a damage in case we make a mistake, but also to potentially damage boost and save some time in the process. This is a second boss. It shoots fireballs at you, and once we get the upgrade on the right, so can we. As for the splits that you see on the left side of the screen, they're not any kind of official splits, they're just something that I came up with myself, something that looks cool for the casual viewer, that allows them to keep track of what's going on. You see that heart that's over there right now? If you pick up that heart, your health goes to max. You regain all your health that way. That boss is the only boss in the entire game that spawns their heart before they spawn the crystals. Which means even if you take damage during the boss, if you pick up the heart first before the crystals drop, the boss considers you having beaten the boss at maximum HP. It doesn't actually mean much, but it's just a fun fact. This is the red snow boss, at least I think it's snow. It's red and it's the snow biome. This is a one-frame attack. When you try to shoot this guy normally with a fireball, the fireball goes through it, but when it becomes white, indicating you can't damage it, the fireball immediately damages it on frame 1, so that's just worth. As for the rest of this battle, it's just movement. You move left, you move right, and that is everything. You get a quick shot off on that, and the upgrade you get is the ability to cling onto ceiling. That will be important way later. These are blue energies. They transform to platforms once you shoot them. What you see me do there is quickly glance at the top screen. The reason why is because in this game, you can teleport between teleport waypoints. And you don't need to actually get to a teleport waypoint in order to teleport to them. You just need to see the screen that they are on, which is why we go out of our way to see the screen so we can teleport to those places later. In fact, we are about to get the teleport ability right here. We can now teleport between areas. Blink and you miss it. That was the map. The movement on the map is very optimized as well. This upcoming place here is called the shop. It has 2 upgrades, a golden orb, and lots of hearts. Speaking of upgrades, the first upgrade that we will get is the ability to grab onto red energy. That gives us back our ability to double jump as well if we didn't have it. That's very important because there are a lot of red energies that require grabbing for us to progress. Speaking of upgrades like that, there's also another upgrade that allows us to grab onto yellow energies like the ones you see at the top left. We will not be grabbing that one actually. That upgrade is in a place called Fire Gate, which also has a second upgrade which we'll mention later, but yeah. Turns out the ability to grab yellow energy, at least in this particular category in regular mode, is not necessary. You see, in order to beat the game, we need 7 golden orbs. And as you saw before, one of them was in the shop. And it costs quite a few crystals as well. The other 6 are from bosses. And it turns out there are exactly enough bosses in this game to lead us to those 7 golden orbs without needing to get the yellow grabby energy ability. Is what we're calling it, I suppose. This boss right here is the angry rock mustache guy. It's optimal to do this boss without taking any damage because then that means I don't have to pick up that heart that's slowly falling down onto the floor. We need to be at full health at this point because of something very important that's about to come soon. This is also another important ability. It allows us to turn into a meteor and dash downwards. I don't think dash is the right word. Cannonball, ground pound, whatever you want to call it. And this is why the ability to be on full health is very important. Because of that heart gate at the top left. You see that red heart gate? You can only unlock that if you are at max health. So if you didn't have max health, you would have to pick up the heart on the right or save on the left side, which also restores your health. And there we go, height, jump height upgraded. There are 6 jump upgrades in this game total, and we will only be getting 5 of them. The last jump upgrade that we will not get is also in Fire Gate, just like the yellow energy upgrade. I didn't know that you can skip that upgrade until I saw the current record holder's speedrun, Dethwing. Turns out, my own personal route that I had been doing this whole time from the past was a little bit outdated, but it's fine. What you will see upcoming next is a boss skip, the first one of its kind. You can jump on top of these flying ghosts, and turns out you can do just perfect movement to just completely skip the boss entirely. And for that, we get the ability to duck. Ducking will be used very soon because that's what allows us to become bird. There is one thing that I will mention temporarily. Oh, by the way, there's a heart right here. I just show you because it's fun. This game runs at 30 frames per second, and as such, it also only recognizes keyboard inputs every 30 seconds, once a frame, 30 frames per second. So if you were to be very quick on your keyboard, e.g., let's say you press the double jump button, you do a jump, and then you try to double jump, but you let go and repress the jump button within 33 milliseconds, you might not actually do the double jump, because the game did not even recognize you let go of the jump button. As such, you need to be kind of careful with your movement in this game as well. The same thing could happen with you trying to buy items from the item shop. You press X to buy and then Z to exit. But if you press those buttons too closely together, then the game considers both of those buttons being pressed at the exact same time. And it just so happens to prioritize pressing Z over pressing X, which means you will close and reopen the shop without buying the item, which is 2 seconds slower. So something to take into account. This does not happen in this run, but it could happen in your runs if you ever try, so, you know, watch out. Anyway, this is a little surfing water boss that turns into Pac-Man, kind of. It's not very important for us to defeat this boss at full health because the crystal route has been figured out quite a lot. In fact, we take some damage there, but it doesn't matter too much. Now we go down into the deep dive area with lots of water and fish around. We'll do a quick damage tank here to go here faster. And now we get another mandatory upgrade in this game, which is the ability to shoot ice. If you hold down your shoot button, your shot turns into ice. Speaking of the crystal route in this game, you, as I showed you before, require, I think it was 417 crystals for the golden orb in the shop, and everything, all the crystal drops in this game by bosses are taken into account here in order to make sure we have exactly enough crystals to afford everything in this game. And here we see 100 damage. We damage boosted past those sea mines to save like around 3 seconds or so. Once again, the crystal route has been figured out a lot, so even though we won't be completing this boss with max health, we don't need all of the crystals that it drops. We just need one specific crystal. By the end of this run, we will have exactly enough crystal to afford the golden orb in the shop, and also one more pay-gated area that we will be getting to at some point later down the line as well. Anyway, this water boss is not too difficult. I prefer the method of staying on the ceiling because it's safe. This is one of the areas that I spoke of before about the double jump, not double jumping. I would sometimes release and repress the jump button way too quickly, and then my character would not jump all the way up to the top, and as such I would lose my run. It's very silly when something like that happens. I'm glad I have video recording so I can try to figure things out. I'm also glad that I included the Z, X, and arrow key indicators on the top left corner. It is such a nice quality of life. Now here, one of those crystals was yellow, or golden if you will. Just like this orb right here, a golden orb, the first one of its kind. That yellow crystal is worth 100 crystals. That is the only crystal we care about in this whole entire crystal section after you defeat the water dragon boss. If we get that, our crystal route is on par to be exactly what we want it to be. This is Highlands. These rocks do 100 damage, and they are kind of RNG in terms of where they spawn. And this boulder right here, you see how it falls straight down? The other one bounced. The likelihood of it going straight down instead of bouncing is low, but not zero. And if it does do that, and you try to get a faster little thing going on with the movement, you might pay the price and die instead. It's happened to me a few times. Over there, you saw me use a cool tactic of freezing one of the Thwomp Rock guys in order to go down faster. Otherwise, you could perform a downward smash in order to smash them down into bits, but then it would do a little bounce, and that's just slower. If you can't afford the mental capacity for it, so you should go ahead and do that. This is the Deep Dark boss, and this is the boss that gives us all of the final necessary crystals. There is a small possibility that if your crystal route was slightly unoptimal, that you may need a couple of extra crystals from one more boss, but the likelihood is small, and also the time waste on that is not very big, so it doesn't matter too much. This is the tennis boss. You need to turn their fire that they shoot into ice and then shoot them back at them. That is the boss. Let's see. I guess there's one thing I could mention about the water dragon boss that we fought earlier. The water dragon, if you paid attention before, it comes out of a wall, and two of those blocks, well, four of those blocks are missing. If you could somehow figure out a way to glitch past those glitch past the boss and squeeze yourself into that 4-block gap, you could completely skip the water dragon fight entirely. And here are where all the crystals come in. There we go. Another golden orb down in our banks. But yeah, I don't think the water dragon skip is possible. The boss, it pushes you away when you touch it, so yeah, this right here, what you see is the, I wouldn't call it infamous, but it's a oxygen run. You have to use every last point of oxygen you have to go all to the far left down a very, very long corridor. Your oxygen, even if you were to take damage here, you only take like 25 hits every second. And luckily, that does not come into play. What does come into play, though, is the fact that we took a damage boost earlier. Every single one of these spikes here does 100 damage. If we take damage even once, we would die. But luckily, I am good at movement, so that doesn't come into play. I guess that would be a good time to mention another buyable object in the shop. It's called the Long Fire Upgrade. It makes your fire and ice shots travel further, like about 3 times as far. It costs like almost 200, and honestly, it's not even worth it. It does, if you really try to go out of your way to do like the water dragon boss without taking a hit and the deep dark boss without taking a hit, then I guess you could afford it. But trying to do those bosses without taking a hit is not only harder, but also for various other reasons, well, you can't damage boost either. Here, okay, you see this, that is, you saw the golden orb there, right? So normally I thought you had to get the last jump upgrade because that's how you would normally like try to get vision of this particular screen that allows you to see the screen with the teleport and the golden orb to completely skip a boss. But turns out you don't need the final jump upgrade for it. You can instead freeze the enemy. That is something I learned from Dethwing, the current record holder of the any percent regular category. And here is why we need the ice upgrade, the mandatory ice check. If you have ice, you can go to Sky Sand. If you don't have ice, well, tough luck. And here is where we get to the shop and buy our last golden orb. Well, not last, it's just a golden orb that we got. We bought it. We have it now. Yes. Let's see, anything else I can talk about? I guess there's this upgrade that allows you to move on ceilings. Finally, that upgrade from when we beat the red ice boss comes into play. We can now slide across while on ceilings. Normally, I would use this to like get the final jump upgrade in Fire Cage because that's kind of necessary. Either that or the long fire upgrade. But turns out, well, it's also very, very mandatory in Black Castle, so we're getting it nonetheless. We have 77 crystals right now, which is enough to also get the final pass past the crystal gate. Here we see a fellow bird. They are the archaeologists. They have things to say to us, but they only say them if we are on the ground. And here, because we have full health, we can tank the damage and do this a bit faster. The archaeologists will normally say things to you, but because we didn't touch the floor there, we can just completely skip past it. There isn't much dialogue there. There's only like, what? 5-6 seconds worth of dialogue, maybe. Also, if you do get the dialogue, the top option is slightly faster because there's one less text box. And this right here is one of the more infamous bosses in the game, the mummy with the sword. This boss, I think many people would think of this as one of the more difficult bosses because of the way you play it out. I really respect this boss. I think it's really cool the way you have to like actually make the sword fly into the enemy and then avoid the sword going left and right while avoiding the, what do you call them, circles, outlined rocks, whatever you call them. It is very important for you to not take damage here because every shot would kill you, and because I tanked the damage before, we are at 1 health. Well, 10 health, but like we're 1 hit away from dying. I almost even got a bit scared here. Yeah, right there. I got a bit scared that I would die there, but luckily I did not. I normally like to play this near the center, but if the projectiles are not in my favor, I would have to... Yeah, you see that crystal down there? If I did not have enough crystals right now, I could get a couple of extra there. Here, the archaeologists, they teleported to the top. They would normally tell you that they were gonna race you to the top themselves, but we never talked to them, and they're already here anyway. This that you see over here is one of the ghosts in this game. They are scary, and if you were to touch one of those, if they were to spawn anywhere in the game, they would deal 150 damage, which would insta-kill you even if you were at max health with your 110 health. So, from this point onwards, the ghosts can actually spawn. There are 2 triggers for that. Defeating the mummy boss, well, not defeating the mummy boss, but like getting the cutscene that you saw there with the archaeologist, and the other one is the bandit from Fire Cage, the one that would allow you to unlock the yellow energy jumps. We are only going to be doing one of them. Once you do one of them, ghosts can start spawning randomly in the world. They can spawn anywhere between 1 and 3 on the side of the screen. They turn the screen purple and they're scary. Luckily, I did consider the possibility of... Oh, by the way, this is a boss quick kill here, the splitting rock boss. Some people do it some way, I do it my own way. It's a little bit slower because I missed one of those things. My main goal is to make sure to prevent the rocks from going to the left side. Because if they go left, well, you see the exit is on the right side. I do not want the rocks to go left because that would be slower. That's further away from the exit. So it wasn't the fastest fight I could have done, but it was fight nonetheless. Oh, one thing that I should mention right now, actually, Golden Orb split number 5 during the splits that you see on the left was actually a little bit mistimed. Apparently, one of the best possible times on that was 1 minute and 24 seconds faster than it should have been physically possible. So the current sum of best segments, instead of being 36:31, should be 37:32. So the best possible time, according to my current best times, should be 37:32 if I want to do everything perfectly. Now we go down to the bottom and do Cloud Run. Pink Cloud Run. This is a very execution-oriented area. Normally you could skip the bottom balloon there, but because we skipped out on one of the jump upgrades, we cannot do that. We can only reach the bottom balloon and just barely as well. It's kind of crazy how much having the final jump upgrade changes the way you play the game. This screen is a little bit scary. If you play things wrong here, you could end up falling down and then you lose a gigantic amount of time, so I try to take things safely there. Any final things I should mention here? No, not really. We are on top of our world right now in terms of topics I want to mention. Oh yeah, this section right here. This section isn't really that difficult, but I ended up missing my jump there, and as such, well, I have to redo that. And not only did I miss it once, I missed it twice by barely missing my jumps. This cost me 21 seconds, which is not very good, but this is like the only major mistake that I had in the run. This run would be so good if I didn't do those mistakes, but you know, we're only human after all, I suppose. God, I hate being a human. I think I had around like 50 attempts or so on this game. I spent like way more hours, like probably 20 hours trying to get this run. And this right here is our final golden orb boss in the game. They protect the final golden orb. And this boss is also infamous for... Well, maybe not infamous, but it's well known for being skippable. You don't need to defeat this boss. As you can tell, this boss is kind of slow. It moves a lot, it shoots a lot, and it's just genuinely a slow boss. Luckily, one of his attacks is rockets. You're supposed to use them to hit the blinking thing beneath it, but you can also use them to just completely skip it and get the golden orb. That is the final golden orb in the game. And now we go to the end of the game. We teleport to Dark Grotto. And we head to Long Beach, where we will enter the end game. This is the so-called, what I would call, break in the game. You've done a lot of heavy platforming and boss fighting, and now you get to take a break as you head to the final area of the game. Oh, and by the way, there's a little secret area down here that I show you. Blam. Down there is Deep Tomb. It's filled with ghosts and lots of gold. This is the bird girl. Girl bird. Bird girl anyway. Right, so as we get to the end game, I can talk about various other bits. Basically, there's lore in this game, and this girl is about to tell us that this girl here has a 50% chance of going to the left or going to the right. If it goes left, that's optimal. If it goes right, that loses like 2 seconds for free without you getting the chance to do anything, which is kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. This girl now tells us the lore of this land. Basically, ghosts took over the world. All the birds were sent to Sky Town. There was a curtain put on the mountain to block out the sunshine. You can also go there. You can see the curtain for yourself. And now the world is shrouded in kind of darkness, and this girl escaped onto the beach and now wants to make a boat and flee away to better places and invites us to go along with them. Now, we never get to do that in this game, and there's no sequel, so we never get to do it in general. But there is one fan project that also goes into it, but we don't get to do it in this game. In this game, we don't go with her. We instead go to the source of the problem and solve it ourselves, because we are Giga Jazz like that. That's the lore of the game. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my history with this game as well. I don't even remember how I found this game. I think it was probably through Raocow, if I had to guess. I saw Raocow play the game and I was like, man, this game is really cool. And then I played it myself and it was really cool. It's really nice. This game has lots of good platforming, lots of good plot bosses, some good lore. There's a whole library with like background lore and stuff. It's kind of crazy. And then when I started my channel, well, I had one channel before this where I would upload like real life domino toppling videos and other bits and bobs. But one day I wanted to start doing video recordings of me playing games while doing voice commentary, and that turns out is hard to do when your channel name is something that is unpronounceable. So I created a new channel called Vaza, which is why I'm named this now. And the third video that I uploaded here was an Untitled story, which is one of the games that I was the most fond of at the time. I followed that from a guy that said you should play a game that you are the most fond of first on your channel if you want to become big, so that's what I did. I ended up also creating a massive difficulty playthrough later on because I wanted to redo the thing. My past videos, really old videos, are terrible in terms of quality, especially audio. I do not recommend watching them. That's my story. And now we're in Black Castle. Ninja comes to say to tell us things. We don't care. Black Castle is where a lot of your practice time probably goes into. Like half of the game is practice time. You can die in all sorts of ways earlier on in the game, but you can reset those. If you come to Black Castle, things can go real wrong real quick. You can try to do things real quick like, and you could die very easily. These rotating yellow things that you see right here, these are horrible. I hate them so much. Even I, as a decently skilled player, I have trouble. I have my ways of trying to make sure that they are in the exact position I need when I'm trying to use them for movement, but even then, it's awful. Speaking of awful, this is the worst room in the game. It is extremely slow. All of these bubbles do 100 damage. And worst of all, we're playing without the final jump upgrade, which makes one of the screens extremely difficult if we take damage here. So I really try to my best to avoid everything. That's the A's room. That is the speedrunner's worst nightmare room. Everyone hates it. That room is made of the devil. Luckily, we did that without too much issue. The pattern there wasn't too bad. We got good RNG on that. I've seen patterns that are so much worse. Here, I try to take things safely because this is, as I said, this is like run 50 or something, and I really want just a good, solid run. I may have lost like 21 seconds in Cloud Run, but I could have lost so much more time in so many other ways. I just wanted a good, solid run that can get going. This is the room right here. You see, you have to shoot the thing. Normally, you can reach that purple blob at the bottom there without taking damage, but without the final jump upgrade, double jump upgrade even, you cannot reach that, which means the only two ways of getting there is by either tanking damage, which is easier, or by having it set up by playing around with the rotating yellow thing, which I do not recommend even to my worst enemies. This room is not too difficult. The top section is a little bit difficult to do consistently. The right side, you see that downwards drop? I call that, there's a certain strategy you can do here. You can hold down to go faster. And you can do that drop without taking damage, but it's a little bit dangerous. I call it the YOLO fall, and I call this one the YOLO fall too, because you can also do that drop in the middle of the room by holding down as well. The middle one, however, you cannot do without taking damage. You will tank a hit, and then you will be at 10 HP with one hit, killing any of your chances of reaching the end immediately. There's a heart. You see those red blocks? There's a heart over there on the left. It's one of the more obscure hearts in the game. This hallway has bubbles. They're not random. There are certain patterns. I think the pattern might depend on your health. I'm not 100% sure though. And by health, I mean like your current health, not max health. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it depends on something else. The blue platforms, one thing to note about them is that they will not turn into platforms if you are inside the blue energy while you're trying to shoot them. Probably a way to prevent you from getting stuck inside of them, you know. And here we get the final boss before the final boss, the second last boss, the ninja. The ninja would also come meet you at the top of the mountain at the curtain, but since we do not do that, we don't get to see them there. The ninja would probably tell you something like, yo, you are not supposed to do the thing that you are doing. Please cease now while you still can. But we don't care because we we will literally defeat the final boss in record time. They have zero time for any kind of preparations. Because we are Vaza. Well, I am Vaza, and I will destroy them with no... Okay, I took damage there because I forgot how to do the pattern. Sometimes I die on the ninja boss for no reason, even though it's literally free. It's kind of annoying, really. It's just, oh well, you know. It is what it is. We defeat the ninja boss. We get our final hit on that, and the ninja says, "I never expected you. I guess my time has come. Good luck." And now we go to the final area of the game, which apparently does not have a name, question mark. I don't know. Maybe it does, actually. I don't know. These are the ghosts I was talking about. They could spawn randomly before, but they are guaranteed to spawn here in the exact location they're at. They do 150 damage, so you will die in one shot to them. Watch out. As long as you cut your movement correctly, though, they don't do much. They are not as threatening as you might think of them. This jump right here is deceptively difficult, especially without the final jump upgrade. You can just barely make that jump. I found it to be very fascinating when I tried this run for the very first time without the final jump upgrade. I was like, wow, that jump really requires you to push for it. And now, the final save point in the game. Our time has come to defeat the final boss. The final boss has multiple phases. The first phase is very simple. I've seen some people do the dodging strat on this, where they go around and dodge everything. I personally find this strat to be a bit more easier. It's a bit more consistent. You can shoot those particles and make them go away. They do go away after being shot. I don't know if it's only fire or if ice works too, but regardless, doesn't matter too much. This boss battle, this particular phase feels no different compared to having the final jump upgrade and not having it. This upcoming phase, though, this phase, the second phase of this final boss, this used to be much worse. This is a very difficult phase if you don't know what you're doing. Apparently, I found a way to do it pretty consistently, which is kind of funny. Yeah, you see right here, blam, immediately. I accidentally found that out and I've been using it ever since. This phase right here is absolute dog water. Luckily, if you target one of the circles first, the other one will not only not spawn lasers and do weird movement, but also it will follow you around and they will take less time to transform, which is very nice. I like that. That was a very clean second phase. Surprisingly clean for some of the runs that I have had in the past that really took a nosedive. Trying to do platforming across those energies is something you really have to learn. Final boss is another thing you might have to practice in your off time. So from this point onwards, the rest of the final boss is not that difficult. It's quite simple, really. It does a little laser attack. It looks like a weird tentacle monster thing, but with only 2 tentacles, with 2 legs. I don't know, weird legged monster guy. It shoots a couple of lasers. It shoots a couple of those flying ball things. Here, I kind of mess up my shot a little bit. I freak out a little bit because I'm like, this is one of my best runs. I barely avoided getting hit twice there somehow. I could have very easily died there and then lost my run there. I tried to salvage the situation now by shooting the balls and I salvaged it. I was so glad when that happened because I was like, man, I kind of lost control of the balls. Normally I shoot them to make them go away, but I somehow missed that and then I was a little bit scared. This is a very simple little dodging the laser section of the boss. It's nothing much to remark on. What there is to remark upon, however, is what comes after this, which is the final phase of the boss. The music goes away. The particles go into the sky. A scary eyeball thing will spawn. It says, "I will destroy you." It has a quick monologue. And it also gives you a nice little timer at the top of the screen. Once the timer hits 0, well, once the timer hits -1, I guess. Well, 0 rounded down. It hits 1 0, and then time. That's how that timer works. It counts 0, 0, 0 as a full second. Once the timer hits 0 at that point though, it's run over. Congratulations, you have beaten the game. This took me so many attempts on massive difficulty with 5 hits. I cannot imagine doing this on insanity difficulty where everything kills you in one shot. Or maybe I can. Speedrunning this game has given me some extra skills that I think might really work in my favor. The second phase is the most difficult one though. That one will destroy you, and there are also way more projectiles in the final form. But that doesn't matter. We are not a part of the Insanity group. We are doing any percent regular. And those are the final few attacks, and that is it. 3, 2, 1, time. And with a final time of 38 minutes, 12 seconds, we have beaten our previous NA% regular speedrunner time, Dethwing, who had a time of 41 minutes and 20 seconds. We beat their time by 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, because I can't do streaming because my upload speed is literally 0.7 megabits per second, and I'm not gonna upload every single failed or bad attempt, I want to upload the best possible attempt I could muster within a reasonable time frame, regardless of what the current world record is, which by the way is a horrible time. They got so many hearts on their run. The third heart they got was the same one that I got, which okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then they bought another one in Skytown. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay, you're going for a safe route with more hearts to tank 2 hits in Black Castle? Okay, I guess that's fair too. And then they got heart number 12 and 13, and I was like, bruh, is this still any percent? What am I looking at? Their run looked like they just found the game like a week ago, did some runs, and this was their best attempt at the end. When I saw their run, I immediately knew that I would not only be able to dethrone their run, but I could also crush their time so hard that I would probably remain as the #1 run for a while. Although this run could have been better, like I said, I did miss 21 seconds in Cloud Run, which would have brought me down to Sob 38, but alas, this run was not quite it. Will I do more runs? Maybe down the line. I don't feel like doing more for now. I have other things to focus on. Other than that 21 second time loss, I could have saved like up to 20 additional seconds from other places. But yeah, overall, this run wasn't actually that bad. But anyway, this is the overview screen at 21% completion, no deaths, 15 saves, 1000 damage, and 35.53 in-game time. And here's the full credits list of all the people that helped make this game. Thanks for playing. And this is about the time that I should sign off this video as well. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And of course, I will see you guys again next time. But until then, take care everyone. Goodbye.